Namaste, Konnichiwa, Jai Hind. Welcome to the Thenupurtewarishow, Indian Army, the shield that defends India. And today we are joined by none other than Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni. Sir, welcome to the Thenupurtewarishow one more time.
Thank you, Konnichiwa, but definitely not a moment that we can all rejoice, because it's a very, very tragic moment. Something very horrific has happened, and that we had to lose our CDS and his wife and his entire entourage that was with him in the helicopter in the crash that occurred yesterday. So, in that of a backdrop, very sorry.
So that is the thing, actually, our viewers would like to know from a soldier like you who fought and who had seen him, and real life, you are a real life hero, and he was a real life hero too, and he will be with us, our hearts, always. So you'd love to know what kind of person was he and his work, your relation with him.
Nupursa, first and foremost that we were contemporaries, because both of us got approved for the rank of a lieutenant general together. And in that context, since we were contemporaries and we knew him well, and we served together at the same place, a very, very honest man, very dedicated, very committed, professionally very sound, absolutely humble, humane. His father was a lieutenant general, and he himself was sort of honor when he passed out. So everybody looked up to him, that he was a bright spark who had his head at the right place, who knew and had the feel of the ground. And definitely with that kind of qualities that you have in a person, and a lovely, very graceful lady, and fantastic. I tell you, I feel so bad. Wonderful couple, amazing, wonderful couple. I don't think it's not possible for you to get anybody from anywhere to speak ill or even have to say anything about the two of them as humans are concerned. Fantastic human beings. And his wife just complimented, a graceful lady, and General Rawat himself, a very professionally thorough person, a man who was respected for his views. He did not mince words. He said what he had in his heart, and he meant what he said. He was willing to listen to people, but a man, an organizational man, I put it that way, an organizational man who had the interest of the nation at heart, who had the interest of the organization at heart. He had the interest of the troops that he was commanding at heart. And he is from the Gurkha regiment, a regiment which has produced officers of the caliber of Field Marshal Manekshaw. So a person of, and his father himself, the deputy chief of the army staff, with whom my short association with his father was at the Siachen Glacier in 1983, when his father was the corps commander, and I was a young captain located there. So he came down to ask me what happened and what is going on. So I narrated to him what exactly happened over there. So that association, and then we both served. His son and I, both as lieutenant generals, together we served. And having seen him at close quarters, I say, oh, absolute, a thorough professional, a wonderful human being who brought in a lot of changes of transformation, the concept of theaterization, the synergy between all the three services, his ability to be able to take people along, the indigenization. And he had, every time I interacted with him, because he knew I had done a course in Japan, he had his love for the Japanese, So something that could be seen, and that could be, and even when we have officers from Japan doing courses in India, and we have our own officers doing courses in Japan. So there's a lot of bonhomie between the two countries, a lot of love and respect. And he also similarly carried that love for Japan. And brilliant. I said from the day one as a sort of honor when he passed out, and carried on doing very well, and did the command and staff general course in USA. So I had very good relations with USA. He commanded a brigade in Congo. So that's where he actually showed his mettle, where things had to be put in place. A hard taskmaster with a very soft heart, with a love for the troops that he would command, the ability to listen, the ability to be able to speak his heart out with the seniors, without mincing words, whether it was the political leadership or whether it is the bureaucrats that they were there, he spoke his heart out. And if that be so, I would rate as a very big loss, a very big loss. Difficult to fit into his shoes, of course. Ours is an organization, and therefore, everybody is groomed up for that. But each one of them comes out, learning is one thing, but to be having your own personality, to be able to work along with that, and to be able to take people along in an organization or in a place where you are a doer, you'll find that a lot of people may not always agree with you. That's always there. And it's good that people don't agree with you, because they bring their point of view in front and then make you think as to, well, you had a point of view. That is also a point of view. And now, therefore, his point of view also needs to be considered, because he seems to have some apprehensions in a particular aspect. And therefore, listen to him, understand him. But once he's been, a decision is taken, then everybody together must execute with their head and heart into it. Then there is no ifs and buts. There are no ifs and buts. Once a decision is taken, which is a decision taken by a consensus, and once that is done, there are no ifs and buts. Whether you liked it or not, you have to be a part of it. And he was one of those who spoke his heart out, who was forthright in his, what he wanted it. And I think the way we are going through some difficult times in the country, that the kind of, our own relationship with China, has taken a dive down. Our relationship with Pakistan has taken a dive down. So you find that these kind of adversaries that you have, and then you have to be ready to be able to take on such challenges. In that context, I think he was a leader who led from the front. And
exactly. Like, I haven't met him, but I can see from his face that he is the combination of strength and kindness. Like, such a glow his face had, and only kind people can have. And the way he spoke, that we are not going to attack you, but if you attack us, we are not going to stop there. So these only can come from that strength. So as a soldier, would love to know, because you are the same contemporary, same time, the Lieutenant General you both became. So as a soldier, what kind of soldier was he?
Professionally very sound, physically very tough, and academically inclined, and a man who was absolute man of honesty, integrity. That is something of a quality of a soldier. Your people, your juniors love in you. The seniors respect you for your honesty and integrity, and with the kind of work that he did with sincerity, commitment, and he had his own mind. He would read a lot, but he had his own mind. I've seen his notings come up, and where he would express, and he would never ever tell anybody that what is it that, he would give full freedom. You write what you want to write. If I'm sitting on top of you, I'll write what I want to write, and whoever is above us can see what each one of us think. So he never ever told anybody what should be written. He would write, you tell them, write, you write what you want to write. He would write what he wanted to write, and he allowed the notings to go that way. That speaks volumes of a person who never ever orchestrated anything. He allowed people, and professionally sound, absolutely, and the concepts that you're bringing, a new vision, a new thinking, the transformation, preparing the army, the armed forces now as a CDS for the 21st century. Just not conventional, but even unconventional warfare. It could be hybrid, it could be cyber, it could be space, it could be artificial intelligence, anything and everything, including insurgency. So preparing the nation and ensuring the territorial integrity and the sovereignty of the nation is not compromised at any time. I think he was the right person at the right place, at the right time, with the right brain, with the right people. I think a combination like that, and a loss like you being in Japan, you're feeling so much concern, and you're so involved, and emotionally you're actually drained out to know and to hear from us and from friends and the newspapers that India has lost the first CDS in a helicopter crash, and in a helicopter which is supposedly a very, very trusted flying machine, very trusted. I think over 20, I would say over 70 countries in the world, including the Americans, would have preferred using this aircraft in Afghanistan. So that is the kind of reliability the Mi-17 V5 had. And to have gone down, of course, the inquiry will reveal what could be the reason for it having gone down. Was it bad weather at that point of time? Or was it the engine failure at that point of time, a technical snag that occurred, or something went wrong in any other manner? Was it a pilot error, or was it some kind of a sabotage? Well, it will be revealed in the inquiry, which is headed now by an air marshal. So everything will fall in place, and hopefully within a month or so, we'll come to know that why such an incident occurred and what led to this fatal accident. And it should not have happened, because the distance from, say, Coimbatore to Kunnur is a very short distance. It's just taken off at about 11:48, and this has happened just about by 12:10 or something of that kind. And within about 5 minutes from then on, he would have reached the helipad of the Kunnur, that is where he was going to address the middle level officers of the Defense Services Staff Corps. So that's the way it was, but well, destined. And a big loss. I feel very bad, because I lost my friend, a contemporary. Of course, he's been as the chief of the Army staff for 3 years. He's been the chief of the defense staff for about 2 years. He would have done another a year plus to have retired in 2023. So he had a lot of time, and he actually devoted that time, whatever he got for 3 and 5 years and whatever time, in to see that the armed forces are capable to fight the 21st century warfare. And I think that aspect, he was very clear. And what you rightly said, he even told people who were wanting to cross over from Pakistan as militants into India, and very honestly said that, well, if you're doing what you're doing, then I will do what I want to do. And if you do come this side, then you we will not hesitate to put you 2.5 feet down. So if you are there, then you are in the grave. So in a way, he was absolutely telling them that do not do what you're intending to do, or what you want to do, or what you're good at it, because I will not leave a stone unturned. I'll retaliate hard, and you may then feel the pinch of it very, very badly. So a man who deterred was capable to deter. And I thought the Chinese and also in Delhi, felt bad, and he conveyed his heartfelt condolences. The chief of the army staff of Pakistan Army conveyed his condolences. So I see that even as adversaries that they are, even as enemies, if you want to go to call them, they also respect men of character. They also respect men of strength. They also respect men who mean business. And because a soldier is a soldier, he's doing his job, he's doing his task. And therefore, everybody else, the adversaries, generals are doing their task. Whichever way, whether one likes it or not, they're doing their task. So we are doing our task. So each one has a respect for the other, for the strength of character, for the strength that he has, as for his qualities of leadership, for the amount of sincerity and commitment that he has for the task that is given, and to have been able to win, I would say, the hearts and minds of the troops, to have the confidence of the government in power. All this is something I think we've really lost in the passing away, or in the tragic accident, and where all this has happened.
Exactly. So you were talking about our enemies also, the China and Pakistan, they are also sending their condolences. But, and at the same time, we can see on the Twitter or some social media, some people are celebrating his death. How would you say on that? Like, why Indians are becoming like that? Why Indians are celebrating his death? And it is not the first time. I know some people really celebrate whenever India loses something. Like, what, as a soldier, how would you deal with those? Do you think should we send, like, I am definitely not authority, like, should India send them to army? Like, how bizarre it is celebrating someone's death.
Unfortunately, Nupur-san, the problem is that in a democracy, there is nothing that you can actually put a ban on. It's a very difficult thing, because each one have their own ways of putting across a thing. You can't obviously, because his hard decisions, any decision that you take, and if it is in the interest of the organization and the nation, he was not a man who believed in status quo. He believed a person that we must be able to do something good and bring in reform, bring in change, bring in transformation, and make the organization vibrant and be effective for the 21st century. So in that context, there will be lots of people who are status quo minded or who may lose out on certain aspects which are introduced. But I think if you are a good human being, you will never ever do such a thing on someone's tragic death. If you are celebrating someone's tragic death, that speaks very, very low of that person's character, speaks very meanness of the person's upbringing. And therefore, I think if such people are there, I understand that there were some people and they were on Facebook and all. I think they did try and tell them that there's a tremendous public, anger against these kind of statements. They withdrew their statement, apologizing to that we didn't mean it that way. But then, whether you meant or not, but their initial reaction was absolutely condemnable, pathetic, and speaks very low of the person's character. And I think they would soon realize that a man who does his job, he will have, you can't always agree with this thing. But then you must learn to disagree with kind of like a good human being. Disagreement is not a problem, but disagree with as a good human being, being able to respect the other man's point of view, and then be able to see to it, like they said, Voltaire also said, I do not agree with the word you say, but I defend your right to say it. And you have a freedom of speech, but that also has certain rights and certain duties also. You can't hurt someone's sentiment, and especially not the one who is not there to counter it. He is not there at all. So even if you say something bad about him, I think it is not fair. It's very condemnable, and they themselves should feel ashamed of the kind of statements if they have made out. I saw one of it in which the person has openly come out to say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. But however, if I've hurt your feelings, I apologize and I withdraw my statement. So that's something good. I see that people do realize that if they have in a jest or instant, reaction may have come out very negatively, but sooner they realize that the entire nation, many parts of the world with whom we have interacted, even from the US Army, the tweet that has come that they also feel very sad that a man who was actually transforming the armed forces did a lot of interaction with the Japanese, with the Americans, with the Australians, and world over, he was been seen as a man of action, a man who was doing things for the good of the organization, good of the nation, for the good of peace and tranquility in the world. And therefore, I would look at it this way, that those are not the people to be even looked at. It's best is to ignore them. They probably would realize soon that they've done what they've done is absolutely wrong.
So India lost our first series, and the responsibility he had already done. And as you said, that he was a doer and he brought synergy between three, Army and Air Force and definitely Navy. So this is how India should deal with it now, because it's a huge loss for India. So as a soldier, as a leader, you led, and like what actually India should do right now? How India can replace that position right now?
What happens is it's an organization, and in every organization, everybody is groomed, and slowly and steadily they don't just come up on the top. It's not an elected organization. It is you are groomed slowly and steadily. Then you reach that level. When you reach that level, almost everybody is as competent as one another. So, as regards the competency is concerned, you cannot doubt the competency of the people who've reached there. Each one of them have tremendous amount of knowledge, experience, and the professionalism in them. Yes, what would just differ is the amount of, the personality. Somebody could be an introvert, somebody can be an extrovert, somebody can be forthright, somebody can be diplomatic, somebody can, would not say but would understand, listen more, and do exactly what he wants to do. So these kind of personality traits can be a bit of a difference here and there. But otherwise, as regards the professionalism is concerned, as regards the competency is concerned, each one of them, whoever gets nominated to become the next CDS, will have all of it. There is no denying the fact, because everybody has been working together. His thinking process, his vision has rubbed to so many people in the last 5 years, so many people he has worked with. So many people have interacted with him, and one amongst them will only become the next CDS. So he's not going to be coming from outside, from an organization. He's going to be from within the organization, one amongst them. And therefore, I think, yes, the loss is definitely tragic, but as an organization, everybody, adapts himself quickly and must. There's no denying the fact. You have to adapt yourself quickly to the new changes that take place, and then able to move along and take along people with you, but without losing the focus. If his focus was on transformation, if his focus was on theaterization, if his focus was on modernization, if his focus was to ensure to cut the flag, if his focus was to ensure that the country is taken into the 21st century, cyber, space, artificial intelligence, and all of it to be able to go indigenization, then that impetus, that kind of a momentum must be carried forward. And I have no doubt in the capabilities of anyone who takes over from him, that he would find itself very, larger than image to be able to do, but will be able to do an equally, I would say, a job with tremendous amount of professionalism and competency, and with the same zeal, and because he'll have the same team. They have lost the team leader, but the team is still there. And sooner or later, whoever gets nominated as the next CDS, you'll find that everybody will be around him and will be able to deliver. So I have no doubt on that strength that the organization has.
So as we all know that we have lost Mrs. Rawat also, and you know her very personally. We'd love to know a little bit about Mrs. Rawat. What kind of person was she?
One of the most graceful ladies that I have ever met. A wonderful person. Both, you will never see Mrs. Rawat any photograph where she doesn't have a smile on her face, always smiling, always coming forward. Very, very soft heart, always going about, meeting with the Veernaris, going about interacting with the ladies, amongst us, even if there was a social function, youngsters or own contemporaries, husbands, wives, everybody. Oh, lady, absolutely, thoroughly committed to her husband and to the organization. She spent most of her time in Noida. That is where the Army Welfare Housing Organization is there. Even though the CDS's father, as I told you, was the Lieutenant General, but he believed in living in an apartment amongst the rest, and he was amongst the rest of them. And he also had said, whenever I met him, that he would rather retire and be there. So he was not interested in, making a bungalow for himself or something uniquely different. He had his head over his shoulder. And his wife also complimented the way General Rawat was. Wonderful lady. As I told you, Nupur-san, not a person you will come across who can speak a word against that lady. Fantastic. I've interacted with her. I've seen her not just while I was in service, even when I was not in service for the last 5-6 years that I've retired, and when I see her, super. The way she conducts herself, absolutely graceful, no interference whatsoever into the organizational matters, not bothered about anything. If she can do something good, she would rather do something good, but not come in anybody's way. And that all she did was, spent a lot of time because the husband was an infantry officer. So he went from one place to the other place, from one field area to the other field area, to peace and this, and the location that he went, India and abroad. She stood in ensuring that the two daughters that they have, they're brought up well, they're educated well. His own father later suffered from dementia. So for a general, he didn't know what was happening. And the way she looked after him, the way the general himself, like a good son, took care of the father, was amazing. Amazing. I saw that myself when he was the co-commander. And I saw him as a Lieutenant General son and an ex-veteran Lieutenant General who didn't know because the dementia had struck him. And it was very difficult to have an old man at home like that. So he took care of him. And with a lot of love, a lot of affection, a lot of warmth, both husband and wife, towards their parents, towards the in-laws for Mrs. Kulkarni, and fantastic. I think I would rather say I would miss the couple for a wonderful human beings, absolutely humane, very good at heart, and professionally sound, and difficult to find a couple like that who complement one another.
This is like the each and every Indian, I think we all are feeling this is our personal loss. The way you told us, like even we know him from TV, from his actions and whatever he had done in these years, but you have walked with him, you have seen him, you have interacted with him, you are friends. So, knowing these stories, making me personally like it's such a big loss, a good human we lost, a good human we lost. So this is actually the country, definitely country will replace someone, that will happen. But as I said, it's not only me, everyone is feeling that we lost someone from family. And this is our last question. It would be like, when you heard it first time that happened, how did you feel? Like, what was your reaction?
I could believe it. I got a call to say that, would you mind giving us your reaction? I said, what reaction? Oh, the CDS has met with a tragic accident. His helicopter is gone. I said, don't talk like this here. I said, I haven't seen the news at all. He said, it just happened 2 minutes back. I couldn't believe it. I said, CDS is helicopter, because it's a machine which is absolutely insured for flight safety, the best of pilots flying it. I said, no question. I'm not coming to give you a bite. I hope it is not fake news or something like that. No. Then I saw the television and I saw, wow, what a sad thing. Absolutely. That feeling, like you said, and rightly so, Nupur, because you're an ambassador for peace. You interact with people on that level. You love people, interacting with people, and you are trying to make people comfortable, and to see that people are more at peace and love with each other, and love the life that comes their way. You will always feel, you can feel the hurt, you can feel the loss, you can feel what the girls would be going through. You would understand as to how a husband and wife together, when traveling, when the aircraft, when the helicopter catches fire and comes down and is into pieces, what would have happened. Very, very difficult. It's something difficult to express, but I can definitely say very tragic, very tragic. We've really lost a good couple who had their heart at the right place, who were professionally devoted, committed, and nationalist, patriotic, and a person who really had the interest of the organization and the interest of the nation at heart, and was at it till the last. Imagine dying with boots on and in harness.
And they were so much in love that they went together. They're gone together as well.
Absolutely. I pray for the families, and feel really, really bad. I have no words to express, because the girls will be feeling really bad having lost their parents. We are all feeling, as much as you are feeling bad, I'm feeling bad, the world is feeling bad, the whole of nation is feeling bad. Definitely, it's a very big loss. And we hope, may God give strength to the family to bear such irreplaceable loss. And may this legacy of his professionalism, dedication, commitment, sincerity, humane approach to life be carried. And that legacy must continue. That commitment for the nation must continue. If each one of us have that kind of a go in us, if that kind of a commitment, I think we would really be able to see our nation at the place where it deserves to be, and not being seen as a developing nation, but we will soon be seen as a developed nation. A nation with a lot of love, respect, and truly an old civilization which has a lot of ethos, good values, where each one of us respect, love each other, and obviously a nation of our size and of our, I would say, the kind of strength that we have, we are capable of bringing in peace and tranquility in the world.
Exactly, very rightly you said, and thank you so much. Yeah, we are enlightened. The way you described him, the way you described his work and your relation with him, it is right. Like we are also feeling that, yeah, we should contribute to the nation more and more, like you did, and he did, and definitely, as you rightly said, that yes, we have capability to take it to the development nation where it deserves to be. So thank you so much for joining and telling all the unknown stories. These are not stories, but true stories. And we will look forward to have you again and enlighten us with many things. Thank you and
Thank
Jai
you.
Hind.
Jai Hind. Jai Hind.